Hello, Republic City! Welcome to episode 3 of Republic City Rumble! Welcome everyone to, I'm so excited to have be sitting in this seat. That's right, it's me, Lucas, in this seat now, not Krug. Although Krug did an excellent job. It's my show now. Um, and I will say this: maybe not today, but Krug did say a lot of very nice things about me on the last episode, and that will not go unpunished. So,
I told you before the show started. I told you.
yeah. So, but welcome everybody. For everyone who has been here before, welcome back. For everybody who's brand new to the channel, welcome to Rule of Lore. Uh, we
Ooh, it's different here.
It is, and I know it smells a little different, you know.
Yeah.
But the vibes are immaculate.
That's
Yes.
true. That is always true. Um, so, before we get started, so I'm looking at chat, making sure that everything is going well. Um, before we get into tonight's show, usually this is where I do announcements, but I honestly don't think we have that many this week because this was our announcement, this show. So if you're here,
Yay.
congratulations, you didn't need that. So so yes, for those of you who don't know, I am Lucas Santana. I will be the GM for the final 2 episodes of this collaborative crossover between QueueTimes and Rule of Lore. Before I turn things over to my players to introduce themselves and their characters, I just want to say thanks for being here, everybody. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and get started with a channel regular. You know him, you love him, the one and the only Remy Ripple.
Hi, hello. Yes, it's me, Remy. I'm tonight playing Niho, the Earthbender, and very excited where we're gonna go next. You can see me here sometimes on Rule of Lore. I'm home now. But you can also catch me on Twitter at Remy Post.
Excellent. And may I just add, follow Remy on Twitter.
Oh my God.
Listen, somebody had to do it. Um, all right. Let's go. Let's move around on over. Xander.
Yes. Hello, I'm Xander Jeanneret. I'm playing Ezra, who uses he, him pronouns, a healing firebender. Yeah, and I'm also very excited to see where this is going. He had big dreams for pro bending, and now he's getting into some trouble. Ooh. You can find me all over the place, but most recently I had an appearance on LA by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle that's over on World of Darkness. So definitely check out season 5 of LA by Night.
Amazing. All right, and continuing right around, Sam.
I'm Trouble. Sam. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm playing Tirza, our airbender, and mostly trying to prove myself and do so in the safest ways possible. The most awesome ways.
Yeah.
That's what I got. I am also the warden of our coach slash mascot slash assistant manager, Pickles the Pygmy Puma. I'm very excited to be here on Rule of Lore for the very first time. I am transpreading across your screen capaciously, and I'm very thankful for this Rule of Times Queue of Lore experience.
Excellent. And of course, last but certainly not least, in absolutely no way least, Liv.
Hello, hi. I'm your girl, your gal, your pal. My name is Liv. I usually am here playing the worst adaptation ever, the Fratty Rock. Usually I'm here playing Anar Gon, but now I am here playing Kisima, who is the manager of this team. She does not gatekeep, she does not gaslight, but she absolutely will girl boss. So very, very excited. I've missed it here. I've missed Rule of War.
We have missed you. Well, incredible. So And of course, as I mentioned before, I'm Lucas Santana. I'm the GM. I'm the one of the co-founders and co-runners of Rule of Lore. GM, most often GM of Infinite Horizon, our sci-fi supers cipher system RPG. I'm just gonna keep adding words to that until it is
It's all
impossible to say.
genres.
Yeah, it's all of the. It is all encompassing. No, you can typically found on Wednesdays. I'll get more into that at the end. But you can also find me on Ramblemancy on Fridays, our roundtable style talk show where we talk about all kinds of nerdy and nerd adjacent stuff. But yeah, pretty much this is where you find me, right here on this very channel. Um, so um, I can see John is doing John things in the chat and has created a meme poll.
Not water
Oh.
Q lore heist. We got no.
I voted.
All right. Thank you, John. So, yeah, with that, I think we are ready to get into tonight's episode, part 3 of Republic City Rumble. Previously, the Pygmy Pumas, the scrappy underdog pro bending team managed by Kisima, had found themselves in the running during one of the pro bending tournaments, during which time some strange stuff started taking place. Some bizarre tremors that didn't seem to be attributed to earth bending that had run through the arena, stopping one of the early matches. And after a little bit of snooping around, some suspicious activity was detected revolving around one Gravone and the Gravone Inc., the corporation that owns the pro bending arena and has sponsored the proceedings currently. A lot of investigations from Kisima and from, I believe, Tirza had a lot of investigations that resulted in a lot of interesting, strange, mysterious happenings around the arena. There was some later on there was some emotional kind of bending that took place in the arena that not on the part of the Pygmy Pumas that may have almost disqualified the Pygmy Pumas unjustifiably, but after some top tier lawyering from Kisima and the bizarre last minute stepping in of Gravone himself got them back in the running. There was some good sportsmanship on display as the Pygmy Pumas and their rivals, the Scorpion Bees, gathered in the center of the arena to sort of do a little bit of some bending exercises that were Xander, what did you call it?
The element orb.
The element orb. Exactly. I love that. Yeah, some element orb stuff going on, and that was pretty cool. Of course, that then ended with another bout in the arena that, at the end of which, as the timer ran out with the round going to the Pygmy Pumas, it also resulted in yet another pause in the proceedings. That with a little bit of time under their belts, they got together. The Pygmy Pumas got together with the Scorpion Bees and had a sort of came together, and all of them sort of pooling their knowledge, ultimately thanks to a brilliant call out by, I think it was from Tirza, that caused the Scorpion Bees to decide, you know what, maybe this is for the best. We should all pool our resources and investigate this together. So that is where we left off. So at this point in time, y'all are still kind of in the kind of back room, kind of like the locker area, as you see. I'm gonna give this one to you right off the bat, because you can see, looking across the arena, as you're all kind of beginning to make your way back, like the Scorpion Bees preparing to head back to their end of the arena. You note, and I think we also note that some of the audience is starting to kind of pay attention to this as well, that in the booth where most of the like arena officials tend to be, you can see that there appears to be some sort of argument taking place. And as you look closer, you can see one of the arena officials is arguing with somebody that even at this distance you recognize. You recognize Gravon's assistant Juan. They appear to be arguing. You can see the like Juan is sort of standing very calmly, speaking with the arena official, but you can see the arena official, like he's just like gesticulating wildly and talking like very like finger in the face kind of gesturing. You can see that this is something's going on, and as you notice this, you can see that that Koi, the waterbender from the Scorpion Bees team, turns to you and goes, "That doesn't look good."
I mean, it looks good to me. It looks like Gravon's losing.
No. The thing about it is, with people like this, it's better if you are more powerful, but come across like you're as unthreatening as possible. Let somebody else be a fool. Let somebody else make themselves look stupid in front of you. I think that's what's going on here.
What could they be arguing about, though? I mean, is it just because we weren't disqualified? Are they still upset?
Which cover is there between there and here?
Like cover in between. I mean, not much. I mean, you've got the basically like it's kind of on one of the edges of the one of the wider ends of the arena. One of kind of like one of the wider legs of the arena. Kind of up higher, kind of higher up where you could have like a pretty solid view from there where the officials are. It's basically just located just behind and to the left of where the like announcer's booth is. So yeah, there's not a ton of cover, but I mean you can stand kind of in that like prep area by the arena, and you can like standing there's wall cover that you could kind of like go up to and sort of.
Okay, so it's pretty hard to not be in view of both the audience. Like you have to pick between audience or
Correct.
them. Yeah. Got it.
Yes.
I don't know though.
There is a few minutes, like another 30 seconds of this proceed, and then finally you see the arena official like is listening to Juan, who from your perspective Juan kind of has his back to where you are, and the arena official, you see that he's listening, and you can see that he's like turning like beet red. He is furious, but then he you can see after a moment his shoulders slump, and he just says something and nods to Juan, and then turns, and you watch as they both exit the booth.
It looks like Huan won.
Right.
Are you so certain that that is the case, though?
Well, I would love to know who won, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure who I should try to go talk to.
Koi points and says, "It looks like you might not have to." And she, as she points, you following her gaze, you can see where that same arena official is now speaking with the announcer. And the announcer, you can see the announcer asks a question. The arena official gives like this hard look, does not say any words, and just turns and walks away. And the announcer turns, and you can actually like see his face as he just like. And he like clicks on. You can hear the sound as like the mic clicks back on. He says, "Good evening, folks. Sorry for the delay, and unfortunately, I come to you with a bit of bad news for the evening. Due to some safety concerns, the rest of the proceedings are going to be postponed until tomorrow evening. Your tickets for tonight will still be good for tomorrow, so do not worry about that. But at the moment, we are asking for everyone to quickly and calmly evacuate from the arena.
Evacuate?
Thank you, everyone, and have a good night." You can see this, like he hesitates, like he's like trying to like put some sort of like more show kind of spin on it, and then he just shakes his head and turns the mic off.
Okay, wait. Also, just for clarification, Gravone just said,
The assistant.
Last week Gravone was like, "No, we'll keep the game going," and now we're finding out that it's not. Is my memory serving me correctly?
That's correct.
Worm. Kisima, despite sitting here and asking her, people, what do you think I should do? Stands up and marches right over to where Juan is headed. Just fuck this.
Yeah, you'd have to like kind of run to like get there, but like from where you are, but you can make it. You know where
Yeah.
you know this place super well. You know how to get there.
Yeah.
So like Kisima just takes off.
Oh, I'll take off after her. Ezra, like, wait, be careful.
Yeah,
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, you can see like Mord, the Earthbender from the Scorpion Beast, kind of like looking like, are we all? Oh, okay, you're not going. Okay, and then he just like sort of settles back down.
Kisama can handle it. She can handle it.
Oh, this is perfect. The audience will be clearing out and they'll have everyone distracted. We can go down into the moat and try to get info and no one will see us. Just wait for everyone to clear out and then we can move.
Yeah.
We will be back for that, but for
Yeah, so
Who are you talking
to? Yeah, we'll go ahead and cut over to Ezra like running to catch up with Kisima, who's just like
For some
power
reason-
walking through the hall.
yeah, like I was gonna say, a lady
Way
never
fast.
runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud heels clicking on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stone floor.
Mhm.
But it's still faster than Ezra can go, the professional athlete.
Yeah, you.
Hey, you
you're-
take those scare quotes right out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you as you kind of like are wending your way through
yeah.
the halls. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I cut him off. Like I wholeheartedly step in front of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excuse me. I have
But
some.
what is happening with the game?
Due to some concerns over public safety, we have proceeded to, in the interest of safety for all, we have proceeded to postpone the matches for the evening. They will pick up again tomorrow.
Took you a very long time to make that decision, didn't it?
Yes, well, these things take time to determine.
I just think it's very interesting that it feels like you have a lot of vendetta against my team. First the disqualification, now the canceling of the match or the postponing of the match. Is there something going on?
I'm not entirely sure what you're implying.
Right. Sorry. Let me spell it out. What is your issue with my team? Why don't you want us to play so badly? If this was such a concern, we should have evacuated the entire arena a while ago. Instead, you let them sit there and play circus tricks for everybody while you did what? Figure out how to derail us further?
Let me see if I understand this correctly. You are accusing Mr. Gravone, a powerful businessman and philanthropist in the city, of taking a special interest in your pro-bending team to such a degree that he would orchestrate all of this simply to prevent you and your team from competing.
I'm just saying it feels a little targeted, and it seems like the priorities have definitely been shifting throughout the night.
Well, I can assure you that Mr. Gravone's priorities have and always will be the safety of the events that take place under his purview.
Also, hi, Ezra. I just wanted to mention, very fast, Kisima. I do have some friends in the medical bay here in the arena. If there are any emergencies that need tending to, I'd be happy to offer my services as well. It sounds serious.
Yeah, I mean, if it's an emergency, if we're postponing things and we're evacuating, are people okay?
You can see like he does that sort of like sideways like like side eye at Ezra, and then just sort of like very slightly you can see that he like kind of turns his head up, like doesn't respond to you, and then just looks back at Kisima and says, "Everything is under control. This is a routine matter. just that we have been asked to look into by the Republic City Police Department, if you must know.
Yes, sir. And Ezra will just start heading back.
He says, "Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Gravona is expecting me."
Kisima Kisima just like holds her chin up and walks away. Rat, you fucking rat.
Yeah, like 100%. This guy definitely gives off like absolutely. And I think you know this already, but just to reiterate in this moment, absolutely gives off the impression of somebody who like is not used to being in power, who has been given a position of power by somebody like Gravone, and is now like he's dead set on holding on to that and flexing it wherever he can. So yeah. You can see as he just sort of very haughtily and with a certain amount of righteous indignation turns and begins marching away down the hall.
It's like we're walking away, like you just hear Kisima under your breath. I could buy and sell his entire existence 3 times over with my weekly allowance. Just, like, so fucking furious.
Well, do you think we should still go forward with the plan and investigate more? Or if there really is an emergency, maybe we should?
No, they're lying, Ezra.
Okay. If you say so.
She like takes her hand and leaves.
Yeah.
So we'll cut back over because meanwhile, back in the prep area, you can see Koi has basically had sat down on one of the benches and just kind of has her elbows on her knees and is just sort of like holding her helmet in her hands, just kind of like fiddling with it. And like in the wake of everything that has happened and kind of this conversation, this agreement to sort of join forces, things have kind of fallen a little bit sort of silent, as like at least with the scorpion bees, they don't seem to know like what to say in this instance. They're just kind of there. The occasional like wordless interaction will pass between the firebender and Mord, the earthbender, and just like little things, the kind of thing that you would expect from people who'd been like practicing together for a really long time, right? Those sort of little like wordless exchanges. Mord sort of like twitching, tapping, and then like a glance, and just Mord just nods and stops and sort of breathes. But yeah, as you're there at one point, Koi finally like looks up at you, Tirza, and just says, "So you really think something bad is going on here?"
Yeah. I mean, don't you?
I definitely think it's weird. That's for sure. I don't know. She kind of glances around at the like rapidly emptying stands and just says, "I just have such a hard time believing that." I don't know that. I mean, I've been in pro bending for a few years now, and I've never. Whenever anything like this has happened, there's always been some kind of rational explanation for it.
I mean, just because the explanation's rational doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Why is it so hard to believe? Why do you trust them like automatically?
It's not that necessarily. It's just she kind of like glances over at the other two who are like now kind of like had their heads together, just sort of like in kind of muttered conversations. She just says, she stands up and kind of like indicates with her head sort of to step aside, and she just says, this was supposed to I'm quitting pro bending. This was supposed to be my last time round in the ring, and I guess I'm just not ready for it to be over like this.
Wait, why are you quitting? You're actually good.
This kind of stuff doesn't last forever. I mean,
Yeah, but it lasts while you're good. Like, I play position against a ton of waterbenders, and most of them are soggy.
Solid. She just says, I don't know. When I first came to Republic City, this isn't where I saw myself at all. I mean, I came here to well, I came here to be a. You can see she kind of like flushes a little bit, and then just shakes her head. I came here to be a mover star, and so I grew up on Nuktuk, and it was just. But it's hard. It's hard living in the city, especially when you don't know anyone. And I just sort of found myself here one day and saw one of the coaches saw me watching and asked if I'd ever been a pro bender before, and I said no, and so he offered to show me around, and well, here I am.
Wait, so you're going to like be a star and you're also a super good competitive athlete? That's amazing. You're good at like multiple things. I'm only good at this thing. This is my thing.
You can see
You have interest. You have like, God, you're like water. You have depth.
you can see she's like that. Her blush has only gotten like stronger as you've been talking, and she just says, I wouldn't say that I'm good. I mean, as a mover star, I mean, I'm not. I haven't. I
Well,
didn't
because you
find.
haven't practiced as much. Think about how much you practice bending. Like, think about when you started bending and like think right now, like when we were playing together. Think about how much better you are. You put all those hours into being a mover star, you're going to be the best mover star there ever was. You could do like both. You could do like bending movers.
I don't know.
Why don't you know?
It's just
Hey,
it's just hard. You know you have to know people, and I don't. This was supposed to be my way in. You know,
okay.
make a name for myself here, and then
So here you are. Why are you down? You know a bunch of people. You don't know nobody in the city. You know your team. You know your coach. You know us. I'm Tirza. That's Pickles.
yeah. Uh, she kind of like glances at Pickles, who's just like rubbing up against the leg of the bench, just sort of very like just sort of circling the leg of the bench, rubbing up against it.
Sometimes they catch their tail and it's really exciting.
Um,
You have dreams and that's really cool, but like if there's one thing pro bending teaches us, it's to work hard and believe in what you can achieve if you do that and never ever give up. So you got all of it already. So stop talking yourself down.
okay,
Jeez.
you're right.
Of course
right.
I'm right. Look at you.
Well, thanks.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, but as
So
it
you're still gonna be friends when you're super famous though, right?
oh yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Uh,
Jeez. I'm gonna know someone famous. I'm excited.
um, she just sort of smiles at that, and you can see she just her head kind of goes down, and like her long dark hair just sort of like falls in kind of in front of her face, and eventually after a couple minutes of uh or just a few seconds of that, she like looks up and just says, "Still, if there's something going on in this place, then I think you're right. We really do need to find out what it is because it can't go on like it did tonight. Because if it keeps going on like this, then I'm never gonna have my well, no matter what comes next, I'm not gonna have the either the exit or the continuation of my career that would be good for any of us." She kind of points over. I mean, by us, I mean Mord and Sai. I mean they kind of followed me into this a little bit.
Wait, how did you guys become a team?
And at this point, like now the kind of conversation sort of opened up a little bit. So now she's like,
Yeah.
she's looking over and says, "Well, Mord Howard was driving the cab when I first got to Republic City when I got off the boat, and we just sort of got to talking. He's actually the one who told me about probe ending and why I found myself here. And well, Sai was a member of another team when I was here, and was one of the first people that I got paired up with when it came to sparring and practicing. See if it took if I had what it took to be pro bender. After that, we kind of just started hanging out, and things just kind of went where they went. That was about how long ago, Sai? Sai just sort of leans against and just sort of maybe 4 years ago. I goes, yeah, that's right.
You've been together a really long time. Niho and Ezra and I, Kisima threw us all together pretty early, and Tirtha's kind of opening up the circle a bit, just kind of looking at it, come on, yeah. We're talking about our teams. Ours is obviously better, so Niho, come here.
Niho has been kind of paying attention to the door and seeing if anybody's going to come in and try to evict them from the starting area.
Yeah.
And also the fact that she had blockaded the door earlier, making sure that if someone does come by, that is unobstructed, but she will approach and come over.
Koi looks and says, well, I gotta say, for a brand new team that just got sort of thrown together, you all know what you're doing. I mean, it's been a long time since we lost the first round of a match.
You all fought very smartly and valiantly. I think our style is a little unpredictable as a team, and you did well to combat that.
Sai just sort of nods. Says, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There was some of those moves you pulled out there were just I didn't know what to do with some of that stuff. It was a lot. Like that right now, you might be having that sort of new team chaos kind of thing, but if you could find some way to work that into your style eventually, I don't think anybody would be able to stand up to you after a while."
And we got a good thing going.
I would say at this point, Kisima and Ezra are making their way back into the
Kisima walks in, and I don't know who he thinks that I am. I know exactly what kind of man he thinks that he is. I've seen tons of those men eaten up and spat back out, and he thinks he will be damned if he thinks that I won't do the same and look twice as good doing it.
Ezra looks at the others and says, we got told to evacuate like everybody else.
And we're not going to.
Obviously not.
So we're going forward with the plan then?
Yeah, it's even better now. No one can spot us if they're not here.
Koi just goes, I doubt there's going to be nobody here. I mean, if they want us out, it's probably for a reason.
Yeah, and that's why we have to stay in.
So we should hide for now? Or are we going down there while everybody's leaving?
I think it would be probably best strategically if we sneak our way in while there's a lot of cover. Okay. Yes, we're going to be, koi fish going against the school, but we'll be able to pull it off. I scoop up Pickles because I'm just stressed.
Pickles has been circling that bench, now circling your arm in this kind of swimmer's rollover motion.
And genuinely, you go to reach, and Pickles is always already jumping, just leaping into your arms.
So what were you all talking about?
Koi's gonna be a mover star.
Wow.
Koi just sort of eyes go wide, just
Kisima plops right back next down to Koi. You should meet my mother. She could make you into a star.
Koi was just talking about how she needed some more connections to get
Oh.
a foot in the door.
Totally.
I just get weird.
You would be, oh my gosh, my parents would love you. A pro bender becoming a mover star, match made in heaven. Just like my parents. It'll be totally said, easy, done.
Yeah, you can see that right now, like the look on her face is that very like what is happening kind of look, that like everything is happening so much kind of look.
The
And
Pygmy Puma special.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will say, Niho, since you were kind of specifically like listening, you can hear that there's like this whole time basically like you've been hearing people outside sort of moving about, some voices sort of shouted around, just people like calling, orders, or just like yelling back and forth to each other down the hallway. But now you're actually hearing people approaching, and you can hear kind of the unmistakable kind of projected voice of Gravone approaching. And
Quickly move the lockers out of the way of the door.
Oh.
Just shove them aside.
yeah, genuinely just one of those like you're standing there like, huh, okay, oh, yeah. The door opens just a moment afterwards, and Gravone steps in, and he says, "There you all are. I must apologize. This has been a frustrating evening, I think, and I apologize for the interruption." Oh, good. He like notices that the scorpion bees are here too. He's like, good. I was on my way to you all next. I'm glad you're all here together. No, I apologize. With some pressure from the Republic City Police Department, we have made the decision to shut proceedings down for the evening and postpone until tomorrow. I mean, I know you heard this. I just figured I'd come and tell you personally that my sincere condolences about this. Tomorrow we will pick up. I've spoken with the arena representatives. Tomorrow everything's going to pick up exactly where we left off. You'll come back in and finish out your match.
Is Juan there?
Juan is not there.
Okay, good. Never mind.
Yeah. He says, now, I know that it's not going to cover any kind of dashed expectations for the evening, but I did come to bring you at least something of a consolation, and that is that I know after being out there in the arena, y'all can work up an appetite. So I figured, why don't you all have dinner on me tonight? There's a wonderful restaurant not too far away from here, and he like reaches into a pocket and pulls out what you can clearly see are like basically like a voucher kind of thing that he's like signed kind of thing. He just like hands them. He's like, one for each team, and he like hands one to you, Kisama, and then hands the other to Koi, who just sort of takes it and thank you, sir. Of course.
Kisama takes it, doesn't say thank you.
He says,
Thank you very much.
of course, like I said, it's the least that I could do. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing what you all pull out tomorrow evening. Big fan of both of you. I mean, that display you put on out there, incredible. Not nothing I've ever seen out there.
Does this have something to do with those earthquakes?
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, yes. We did our surveys, but we have to do some more thorough things, and the city regulations, of course, stipulate that we have to any kind further in-depth investigation must be conducted while the arena is unoccupied. I don't want to bore you with the nitty-gritty of city regulations and all that. Listen to me going on. I could go on about this stuff. You all enjoy your nice dinner, and I'll see you tomorrow. And he doesn't wait for a response. He just turns and goes back the way he came.
Can I roll and assess the situation to just sort of
Absolutely.
have see what? Yeah,
Yes, 100%.
I would
Go
like
for
to
it.
vibe check the tycoon.
What
Go
just
for it. I
happened?
would be disappointed
The
if you
vibes
didn't.
are rancid.
They are
Putrid
they are
vibes.
distasteful. They are unwholesome. All right. So the situation is creativity. Cool. Love that for me.
All right.
All right. That is I get one question.
Excellent.
Cool. All right. So the questions list is the questions list. Here's what
Yeah.
I'm getting at that may or may not fit into the questions list.
Sure.
Namely, why did he really come here? What was he hoping to accomplish by this? Was
Okay.
it like smoothing things over? Because he didn't give us additional information. He gave us a pinkies up kind of coupon, but like, what was his goal in doing all of
A
this
legitimate
song
meal
and dance?
ticket.
A meal
A
ticket.
legitimate meal ticket.
Okay.
I was
yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
Go.
One of the greats right here.
Okay. So, as you're kind of listening to him talk, you're watching him. You're watching his mannerisms and all this kind of stuff. It genuinely seems like he really genuinely did come here to like bring you these meal tickets. Like that much is true. What I will tell you, based on what you said, or on what you're like kind of paying attention to, is there is clearly another motive here. Like very clearly that is true. But I'll say that based on what he said, what you were able to kind of like pick up on from him, it's hard to say whether it's about specifically the question that you asked about the like about the earthquakes, the tremors, that kind of stuff, or if it's something else entirely.
Mhm.
But Gravone is, if you didn't know any better, you'd say that he is nervous.
Mm.
Why would I assume I know better? Okay, so would you say then he was trying to like distract or razzle dazzle? Is that what he was hoping to accomplish?
I think it's fair to say that you would know, you would be able to tell that definitely in his response to your question about absolutely, yes. Like this is a very smart man, and you know that like he is not the sort of like kind of fuddy-duddy who would like go rambling on about city regulations and shit like that. Like that was absolutely a distraction tactic for sure. But yeah, but like as far as like his like the one part of what he said that you can look at and be like, okay, this was like a genuine intention, was coming here and giving you like the meal tickets. That was like the one part of what he said that you didn't feel kind of like there's something else going on here. So
The thing that gets us out of the arena.
exactly,
That's
yeah.
right.
Got it. Thank you.
Mhm. Yep.
So he walks away.
Yeah, he's gone. He is
Like a jerk.
You can still hear like his voice sort of like kind of booming down the hallways as he's like talking to people around him and just sort of
Well, I mean, I don't want to be the one to say it, but I am kind of hungry. If we wanted to maybe get some food.
Ezra, we have things to do.
Okay, we
That's
do.
that's there isn't like an expiration date on that, right, Kisama?
Right?
Just,
Just double check. Well, I guess it would be today.
I look at the restaurant. It's like some nice restaurant, right?
it's not like hugely upscale or anything like that, but it's like
What is like a Jade Tea House or whatever, like the franchise of the,
yeah, no, like it does appear to be like I'm gonna say this is Tan's Noodle and Tea House. Like that's
Yeah.
like the
Is
yeah.
it a Gravone company?
No, it does not appear to be a Gravone
Oh.
company. This is what it is it is a local to the arena. Like it's in the same
Okay.
Oh, I
like,
see.
yeah, vicinity of the
Okay.
arena. Like it is
Okay.
yeah, it looks like it was a thing that was like this is like of convenience, but it's like a nice place. It's not like some like yeah, it is like a reasonably nice place. One of those like it is like kind of like a hole in the wall kind of place, but one of the ones that like you discover it and it's like it's good, it's really good. Like you just you know, yeah.
I can pay for us to go to an actually nice establishment.
Oh yeah.
All 7 of us, 8, as I look down at Pickles. But there is another option. We could step out, make them think that we're gone, and then maybe. What was your rank?
Lieutenant?
Was it lieutenant? Was it? Oh, captain. Captain Missy might be able to get us back in.
Yeah, don't you have your you have the inns with her or whatever?
Well, I wouldn't call them that. I think, we're just, a lot of people fall under my charm. A lot of people do things for me.
Well, it did say that they were closing it under the recommendation of the police. Maybe we could work together with them, or
Maybe
you
she's
think?
closing it for us.
Maybe you should talk to her and find out.
You've done so much for us today already, Kisima. What is just one more conversation with Masid before we go sit down and have dinner?
Oh, I do so much. Thank you. Aww. I'm here. I thought you all were ungrateful, and I teeter out.
I appreciate everything that you do for us, dear manager.
I appreciate some things.
That's actually fair. Yeah, I'll go find the captain. It's just, I promise I won't hog the mic forever, y'all. I just got a lot of people to talk to.
No, you.
Okay.
You're moving it forward.
Are you all going, or just Kisima going? Or...
Well, because we're sticking together with the scorpion bees, so that's kind of
y'all
a
might
lot.
as well come.
I guess if we were
okay.
planning on leaving, like fake leaving,
True.
we could be like out the
Team
door.
huddle. What do we think?
What time is it right now?
At this
like
point,
relative to dinner time? Is it like kind of a 5 p.m. vibe where we could accomplish our shenan?
It'd be a little later than that, actually.
Okay.
But yes, is the answer to your question. Like you absolutely would be able to like accomplish all of that. But it'd be we're talking like more in the vicinity of like probably like a late dinner time, so more of like a 6:30 or 7-ish sort of time, right?
Cool. So that makes it a night heist. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love a night heist.
Where
Love a night
along
heist.
is the arena in the evacuation? Is it like time has gone by and people are kind of out now?
Yeah, so like basically as you are now like stepping out into like out of like the locker rooms and stuff, you step out into kind of the main like corridors through the arena, and you still see there's still people who are like kind of confused. There's some like worried faces. There are also quite a few faces that you see that look entirely unconcerned, super blank, like just sort of shuffling along. But yeah, it looks like there's still people, like they've gotten quite a few people are like exiting. There's a lot of like the I want to speak with the manager conversations that you can see that are taking place that are like people are being like patiently like arena reps are like patiently trying to like, okay, but you really do need to leave right now, we'll get this sorted out and whatever, like that kind of whatever. But so right now it's mostly the stragglers at this point. Yeah.
As we're moving along, I guess we decided that we're leaving, but Ezra pulls Niho aside and just says, I know that you mentioned before that you thought that maybe the sound from the earth could affect emotions. Do these people, do they look off to you in that way?
Are those like people that are very calm? Do they kind of have that same demeanor as like those people that were like kind of very, especially because Niho had a very like close encounter with a guy that was like so nonplussed.
Yeah.
They kind of have that same vibe to him?
Specifically because of that, like the closeness of that. I'm not going to make you like make any specific roles because it'd be pretty obvious that it is very much the same vibe. Most of them look like people who are like either people who are wearing some of them look like they are wearing like arena uniforms. So like just for some of the like the staff of the arena. And a couple.
Are they wearing pins?
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool,
but you can also see that there do appear to be some basically like off-duty factory worker types who are still kind of like wearing their they look like they came directly here after that, who also look like that sort of like kind of vacant, almost dazed look in their eyes as they're walking, seeming like they're more just sort of following the crowd rather than actually making their way out themselves. Interestingly enough, you would note that some of them also have some of those pins.
Do the pins look like they're intact?
Mm-hmm. They all do. Yeah.
Niho's gonna like point out a couple of those to like Ezra and like also then try to get the attention of like Kisame and Tirza also to kind of like point out some figures in the crowd that are like that.
Could we each take a separate moment where we go like follow somebody with one of the pins and then
Absolutely.
like deal with it
Yes.
in a different way? I think Ezra's gonna
Yes.
walk up to like the emotionally blank person that he finds in the crowd, maybe one of the factory workers, and it's just like, excuse me, sir.
He just like turns and looks at you. Says, "What? Sorry, did you say something?
Where did you get that pin?
What pin?
It's the one on your uniform. It's very fashionable.
Oh. What?
Well, actually, do you mind if I take a look?" And Ezra's gonna reach out and gently put out some heat to sort of try and crack this thing like they had seen
Interesting.
before.
So actually, as you reach out for it, he actually beats you to it. He like grabs it, like as you say, "You mind if I take a look?" He just picks it up and just hands it to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then that same thing in his hand, he'll just
Mhm.
radiate a bit of his body heat out to like
Yeah.
try to affect
This
it.
thing, just like the one that that Kisima examined, is pretty like it doesn't feel like, even just by holding it, it doesn't feel like it's particularly substantive or weighty in any way. So like it takes almost no effort on your part to just sort of like, you heat it up and you immediately just sort of like crack. And in that moment, you feel that sort of like wash of you just so tired, like you just feel heavy. And like as you kind of feel this, the guy has already kind of turned and sort of shuffled away from you, and you realize all these people are moving that way. That seems like the thing to be doing right now.
Oh yeah, I should evacuate.
Yeah, and you just kind of like shuffle along. Like
What does everyone else do?
Well, I think that Niho would be quite kind of like watching everyone since she has eyes on the most, and then just seeing Ezra just for some reason now is just walking away. Is now like, Ezra, hello.
Yeah, you definitely you're like you think, oh, Niho wants something. I should go and see what she wants.
Oh, and then Ezra will sort of like wander over.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Niho.
Did you get a pin? Did you get a pin off of one of them?
This? I'll help the pieces.
I feel like she's now like, I'm backing away. Like, okay, did you did something to it, right?
I think at this point he'll sort of like, it'll tumble out of his palm.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Don't do that again.
Okay.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Can I follow you for a bit? And he'll just reach out his hand to touch Niho's back and just goes, lead the way.
Yeah. She's gonna just try to walk back towards like the rest of the group with that.
Amazing.
For Tirza, it's like one of the dosed people, and there's kind of a gap, and rising up into frame, up to eye level, is Tirza on the glider, just like, and getting like into someone's face, intensely. Like, tell me where you got that pin.
Did you go up to like one of the like arena people or one of the factory
One
workers?
of the let's see. Let's go with one of the arena people.
Okay. Yeah, she looks at you and like doesn't seem surprised or in any way like taken aback by having you that close. Like she doesn't really react at all. She just sort of looks at you and goes, "Oh, this pin?
Yeah, tell me where you got it."
Oh, I got it here. Like a couple...
Show me.
Okay. And she just sort of turns and just starts looking around, and then just starts walking kind of against where the crowd is sort of going.
I'm gonna pick for her. So like in a lot of sports like basketball or wheelchair rugby, to get someone through against a line or against a crowd, you'll have someone in front of you making space. I have this nice glider that has some wide. So I'm like kind of looking back over my shoulder to like see where she's trying to take me, but I'm going to make space for her against this flood while she is following my suggestions.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I think this is a good opportunity to have you like rely on skills and training here, because I think this is very much yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, all right. Yes. 10.
Ooh, excellent.
That's the magic number.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
no problem. Like people see you coming, and like they, with your glider, and like several of them like sort of step out of the way just to like move out of the way. But some of them are like recognize you from the arena, and they like immediately like they're like, oh hey, great match, and you like just whatever. Just,
hey, thanks. Yeah,
and,
gotta just thank you.
Yeah, and
this way? Yeah.
they give you a wide enough berth that like she doesn't get distracted and like kind of turn. You can see her like her gaze is sort of like wandering as people walk past, and it's just like, but they're far enough. You're giving enough of a space here that she doesn't seem to be deviating from the path that she was sort of set on. And as you kind of eventually you kind of break out the back of the crowd, and she just sort of walks over and like to sort of a like one of the corners in the hallway, and she just sort of stops and says, huh, there used to be a crate here. They were handing them out the other day. That's weird. Her tone does not indicate that she thinks it's in any way weird.
Who were they?
Oh, just some people. I don't know.
What were they wearing?
Clothes, I think? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Wait, what did you ask?
What was it light at the time?
It might have been. You can see so here's the thing. You can see that she is definitely has this sort of like very dazed sort of look on her face.
Yeah.
But every once in a while when you ask questions, every so often you can see like a sort of little flicker of like she's trying to concentrate. And then it just sort of like washes away.
I'd like to try, because I think my figuring is it's like one of those like timed release things, you crack it open, you get the whole thing, and you just go fwam like Kisima did. They're maybe getting just like bits, like mini fwams,
microdosing.
Like mm-hmm. Little, like a long
Not
time of just right, mega dosing over there.
Yeah.
You are so if I get it off of them, maybe it'll clear. So I'd like to just like whoosh bend to just whoosh it off and away from this person to see if maybe that starts bringing.
Yeah. Yeah, you ease like that's pretty easy, a pretty basic thing. She's not like resisting in any way. She's just sort of standing there. You can just very easily with like a very targeted, like a little like whirlwind kind of thing, just it just sort of goes off, and you can hear the clatter as it skitters to the ground and just sort of spins off. She just sort of follows it with her gaze and looks at it and looks at you and just nods. Like she doesn't really say or react to it at all. She just nods, and she thinks, what were you saying?
Like, were you getting a light in your eyes? I'm thinking, skylight. I'm just trying to go for like sensory details, time of day. Memories are weird.
Sure. Yeah.
I know.
She frowns
Cheers
and
doesn't
says,
know what they're doing.
And she says, maybe. I'm not sure. It's really hard to think.
You got any ideas? And Pickles is gonna jump onto like the shoulder and probably just start like.
Yeah, she just sort of looked and, oh, hi. You're
Oh,
friendly.
that Pickles. Sorry, Pickle. That wasn't the idea. I'm sorry.
Um,
Are you okay?
she nods. Says, "I think so." She says, you can see she's like that like attempt to concentrate is starting to kind of like break through a little bit as she's just sort of saying, I think maybe it might have been light. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm just I think I need to go home and rest. Uh I'm sorry. Did you need
No,
anything
yeah.
else?
No, I get it. No, give me your hand.
And she does like
Yeah.
weirdly like she kind of you can see like she seems surprised that she's just like that her hand is going out and grabbing yours, but like doesn't fight it or anything. Just
I'm gonna get her onto the glider and just whoosh her back over the crowd to like
Yeah.
help her get out. She like girl needs to get home. She's
Yeah.
completely right. This
Yeah.
is like I'm not going to mess with her anymore.
yeah, and
So I just whoosh over their heads.
easily like most of the crowd is out of the doors already, but at the point where that's the most useful is at the doors themselves, where you just sort of as people are sort of starting to like bottleneck at the door, you just whoosh right over.
And I let her down and I'm like, Pickles, say goodbye.
Mhm.
And Pickles just does one nice one for
Yeah.
once.
And she goes, "Thanks, thank you. Good luck with. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And she just like sort of confusedly, now sort of like walks off to the street and sort of looks, and you can see where there's like basically where they have like the like taxis, like lines of taxis or whatever waiting at the. She like looks at goes over to one and like gets in and yeah.
So messed up. I have to go tell the others.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we'll jump over to Kisima, who you pretty quickly find yourself kind of at the entrance, easily just sort of power walking through the crowd, like getting to the front of that. And when you get outside, there are in fact a couple of Republic City Police vehicles outside. Doesn't look like any more than there normally would be for an event like this. But before too long, you're able to spot the captain, who is currently speaking to a couple of beat cops. And you can see as she kind of glances over at you, sees you coming, finishes her conversation, and she says, as you approach, she's finishing saying, she's like, "Just make sure, all right? I just want the whole place. I want to make sure." And they nod and go, "Yes, sir." And they walk, and she turns to you and says, "So, eventful evening."
Yeah, is this all for me? And I like motion to the evacuation.
She doesn't respond to that. She just says, she just like all business, just very much continues. She goes, she says, "I called in a couple of favors at the precinct and had them shut things down a bit. Weird thing is, they were a little too ready to do it."
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like, yeah, it's just lots of questions, but I'm gonna find out the answers, so it's okay.
She sort of frowns and says, "As a representative of Republic City Police, I have to dissuade you from any actions to investigate this outside of the purview of the law. The arena is going to be investigated internally by their own people, and they have their people on it. Under no circumstances should you do any investigation of your own, and under absolutely no circumstances should you return to the arena at any point tonight."
Okay.
She nods and says, "Have a good evening," and just turns and just
Wow.
You too.
you can see as she's walking away, she like hesitates and kind of like looks back at you and then just keeps going.
Yeah, I head back inside.
Yeah. Yeah, you would definitely at this point everybody's sort of like converging. The scorpion bees are just sort of like hanging with Neho and Ezra. Um, at this point, Ezra, you're starting to feel like kind of a bit more normal. You're starting to come back to yourself a bit.
Oh. Okay. Ugh. Then, if that's the case,
Mhm.
I'd like to use my medical skills and training to figure out what just happened to me.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a skills and training roll here.
Thank
Wow, smart boy.
you.
Incredible.
Oh, well,
Dosing
9.
yourself for science.
Yeah, it's that's how it goes. A 9.
Okay. So that, if I'm remembering correctly, that is a
Anything.
Mixed
It's
success.
7 success, 8, and then 9 above that.
okay. Gotcha. So like higher than 9, 10 or more is like or is it 9?
Yeah.
I can never remember where the cutoff is.
Yeah, so 6 and above is a red light. It's like, nope, you're not getting anything. 7 to 9 is a yellow light. You're getting some stuff, but like you're cutting it really close. And then 10 and above is a green light.
Yeah,
Great.
there's
Okay.
consequences still
Sure.
from 7 to 9.
Sure.
We're
Okay.
limited to, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's what you can tell. You know that what just happened to you was not some sort of like, it wasn't, for lack of a better term, it wasn't chemical. That much you're aware of.
Okay.
Otherwise, the thing that you're having difficulty with in this is that right now you may be kind of coming out of this, but there's still a little bit of fogginess in your brain.
Yeah.
And it's making it a little hard to like really make any like useful kind of draw any useful conclusions. And the unfortunate thing is this is like the prime moment where you could be drawing any conclusions, because it's like right now.
Right there.
Yeah. So that is yeah. So that's the best that you can pull from this. It's nothing that's happening that is like, yeah, it's
Copy.
yeah.
And then Niho, you feel Ezra's had his hand sort of on your back shoulder, and you feel like it sort of changes as there's an awareness, and tap tap. Thank you, Niho.
Are you good now?
I think so. Just don't touch them.
We're 2 for 2 on do not touch them. I think I got it now.
I thought I could
Good.
figure it out, but it's definitely not a chemical thing. I don't think they're breathing anything in.
It's just it whatever it is, being there, being by it, being exposed to it.
I mean, you mentioned before, is it connected to earthbending in some way, like a receiver?
What do you mean by receiver?
Well, if the sound waves are caused by whatever these tremors, and it made someone get very angry or emotional, it had to be a concentrated amount of that or something. And why is it touch based?
Why is it? Why that? But you're not like, you got like clothes and things in between. It's not like on your skin directly, but it's still being on you, being near you, being
maybe like a field of some kind.
I guess you crush it. It like, I guess the idea of it being dust, some kind of maybe particles, something being released from it.
But that people are affected that aren't crushing those pins. They're just wearing them.
No, yeah.
Hey, team. I was just talking to someone with one of the pins. I did not mess with the pin, I promise.
Good.
Like they were just giving them. Wait, what?
I mean, don't touch them.
Ezra did a thing. Don't worry about it. Go on.
Okay. I was with this arena person, and she led me over there and said, like, a while ago they were just giving them out to her out of crates or something, but the crates are gone.
Oh no. We gotta find the crates. Ezra's still
Better-
confused.
Better question, why are you distributing weird pins that do things to people and pacifying them in weird ways?
To do things to people and pacify them in weird ways. And I'm looking to the scorpion piece like, see, it's hinky.
Yeah. You can see that Koi's reaction to this is just sort of like not reluctant anymore, but definitely like still on the skeptical but accepting kind of thing. Like we still like the kind of we still need to know more, but like I see what you're yes. Sai is just sort of nodding along with this. He goes, "Yeah, well, it's weird because the way that you just described that sudden change of your, emotional stuff, that's a little bit like what I felt in the arena, but the opposite. I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't me. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it."
Is there something on your uniform? Check your uniform. Check your pants.
Yeah, he just immediately starts looking. He's like, ah! He starts looking. Mord is just sort of like looking. Says, "There's nothing. I already looked." And Sai just goes, "Oh, okay. Wait, you what?" Anyway, and then, yeah.
Kisima saunters over. So, everything's been cleared out for us. Everything's been taken care of.
So you got an okay from the captain that we can go back in and investigate?
Well, the captain definitely pulled some strings to get this evacuation for us.
Oh, good.
For us?
Yeah.
Then we gotta move fast.
All right. Sure.
I mean, we'll still have to move sneakily.
Okay.
It's training.
Okay.
Training. I mean, you know how managers are, right? The scorpion.
They all kind of like are looking around at this, and Mord just sort of raises his hand. He says, I don't know if this is, I don't really know what we're doing yet, but for what it's worth, I am starting to get hungry now."
Did nobody eat all the free concessions?
It's just after a match.
It was popcorn.
No,
it
you
was
did.
it was just popcorn though. There's nothing sustainable about that.
There is
It
if
is-
you eat enough of it.
Very, very true, very true. Well, seeing as how the entire stadium is being cleared out for us, we could come back after dinner.
Okay.
Or we could just do it now.
You want to come to dinner with us? I say to Koi.
She looks, and you can see that she's like sort of like gets a little bit of that flush back, but she's like, "Yeah, sure." And
Kisima pulls Ezra and Niho into their own puddle. You all see what I see, right?
Oh, I didn't, but now I do.
Yes. I think so.
Hey, team, I don't know what we're talking about. Would it be okay if we went to dinner, like right now?
With Koi.
What?
Yes.
Back out of the huddle.
Kisma turns back around, throws an arm, or not even throws an arm, hooks an arm with Koi, and is just like, "Of course you can come like to dinner with all of us. We'd love to have you. So, is your family northern or southern?"
Northern what? And you just like keep walking down the street. And I think this is a good opportunity to go to break. All right, everybody. We'll be back in 10 minutes or so. Everybody, hydrate, walk around, stretch, all that good stuff. We'll be back in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. See you in a second. Oh gosh, this might have
You're
frozen
doing
on me.
amazing,
This might
King.
have
You're doing
frozen on me.
amazing.
Yay. Okay,
Please.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
This might
Thank you for knowing my specific flavor of
we
trash.
might still be
Nice.
we might still be live because OBS has like frozen on me. So this is a fun thing.
Oh,
so
Froze
Oh.
BS? No!
Froze VS. Please hold, everybody. Going to the break screen in a second.
Hold my...
Icy slobs.
Maybe. Everybody send good vibes to OBS, and
Biddly, biddly, biddly.
Earthbenders. Yo, we have movers and shakers.
Period.
Oh yes.
oh no, it is fully frozen. This is very fun. I hope we're still live.
I think we are still live.
Okay.
Yeah, I put the stream up. So.
I don't know. I'm not live. I died of gay panic earlier.
Yeah.
You know Fair. I mean, if you're gonna go, welcome back, everybody. And
Yes.
I will say this right now, Liv, you did this to yourself.
You think I don't want it here? You think I don't thrive here in the garbage?
See-
Hello from Rule of the Gutter.
Oh, is that what the poll decided?
Oh my
It's
God.
what we made it.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. No, like listen, there was one time on In Too Deep where I like just happened to tune in while y'all were coming back, and like you said something ridiculous, Liv, and I knew that from that moment on, I knew one day it was gonna happen to me.
Oh my God! Wait. Oh my God! Was it Lady Dump Truck?
It was. I just tuned in on the exact perfect time that day. Anyway, welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, we've been talking. It was like when Resident Evil came out, and I was like, I don't know, Lady Dump Truck. I don't know how to say her
Oh,
name.
Demetrescu or whatever it was.
Demetrescu.
Dump Truck.
Oh.
The worst part is like, y'all don't understand. Like, I get a lot of bad rap on In Too Deep. I am not the worst. Dracu is the worst
I
because
believe
throughout that entire break, Dracu in their like little Stitch voice was like, "Mommy milkers," and I was like, "Can you stop?"
And that's the key to being a stream. You just need to have someone worse than you are.
Absolutely.
Which means
Absolutely.
that every stream like company like has someone who's willing to take one for the team, willing to tank it
Mm.
and be the worst.
Mm.
So we're back.
So
Tell us
back.
more about what we're doing.
Oh.
Welcome back, everybody. I do appreciate that we are just like anybody who has never like watched a Rule of Lore stream just got like the full Rule of Lore experience. It's just all chaos all the time. So, Sam and Xander, welcome. You have officially been like inaugurated into the halls of Rule of Lore chaos.
It feels like home.
Just wait
I
until
really
you're on
did
a
get here and poison my own captions deliberately, so I feel like the stream
Yeah.
did that to me.
Right?
Fair enough.
Just
fair enough.
wait
It definitely
till
wasn't my
you
fault.
get invited for a Ramble Nancy. Then
Ooh.
that's when you're family.
I will just wait.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, diving right back in, when we left off, the pygmy pumas and their rivals turned allies, the scorpion bees, are going to dinner.
Yeah.
And so, while they wait for the arena to clear out, and where they are definitely not going to be doing any kind of snooping around of any kind, so because that would
Wait,
be
we're not?
illegal.
We got the clearance though from,
Sure did.
from the police
Yeah.
captain.
And like,
Our manager said so.
I know that she said we could go other places, but I actually really like Tan's noodles, and I think it's really good. And we could just use the vouchers.
Yeah, like Mord raises his hand, the Earthbender from the Scorpion Bees, and is like, I also vote more Tan's Noodles. It's really good, and I go there a lot. I went there earlier today, but it'd be really great to go there and not have to like pay for it myself.
You
We'll be
like
right
noodles,
near
Koi?
the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Koi looks says, yeah, I do.
Y'all, I think we should get noodles.
I guess we're getting noodles then.
Yay!
Noodles.
Noodles.
All right.
Come on, Kisama. I'm sure there's something on the menu that will appeal to your palate.
I'm sure something is like covered in like gold foil or something that you can.
I am not so gauche that I would buy a bowl of noodles covered in gold foil.
Sorry, platinum foil.
You know what?
I'm gonna just glide a little too fast now because I value my life.
Yeah, like there's a little bit of like Koi just sort of like like grinning and like whatever, and then just like makes eye contact with Kisima and just goes red and just like looks away.
So you're a mover star. Yeah.
Trying to
Right?
be.
That's what you're trying to that's what I
Trying-
thought.
At this point, I'll say you're all. This point, I'll say you're like
Jeez.
turning the corner to Tan's Noodle and Tea Shop, and it's pretty crowded considering that like the arena just let out a whole bunch of people who were but like not so crowded that you're not gonna be able to find a place to sit. You're pretty easily as you step inside, you kind of manage to find sort of a table towards the back.
Is it like one of those like corner booths where like everybody has to like slide in and around
Yeah,
to like
absolutely.
get in there?
It is now. So, because yeah, that's incredible. Perfect opportunity for very awkward moments. So yes, that's the one. So yeah, you all make your way. Yes, Lip.
Oh no, I was gonna say, Kisima purposely drags oh my gosh, sorry, I'm so excited about this idea. Kisima purposely drags Koi so that we would be like two and like second, the two seats that are on the edge, so that for Tirza to be at the table, like they have to be next to Koi, or like we would have to scoot in so Tirza could sit. Either way, I'm forcing them to sit next to each other. Thank you.
It's been finagled.
Yeah, it's good. Excellent. I think
Revenge is swift.
yeah, you all kind of just like pile into the booths. Tirza being given little choice but to slide in next to Koi. So yeah, you all sort of pile in, and you see a very like harried looking teenager like with an apron just walk over, and their hair is just sort of like disheveled, and you can tell it's been a rush. And they walk up and say, "Welcome to Tan's House of Tea and Noodles. I'll get you started with some water, and can I get some tea orders from everybody?"
Ooh, they have a really good milk tea here.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorites. And they pull out the pad and start like taking down orders of tea.
I would like some oolong if you have any.
Yep. Okay. And just sort of. So yeah, like he takes down people's orders, and after a moment says, "All right, I'll be right back with that." And here, and like sort of sets sets a couple of menus on the table. They're small because it's one of those places that has like very limited item menus, but so it's good. You know it's good, that what they do one thing and they do it really well.
Hopefully it's noodles.
It might be tea.
Weirdly,
It might be tea.
I gotta ask, is Kisima like one of those, "I'll have a mocha latte frappuccino" kind of orders?
Usually yes. And as people are going around and ordering it, she's like having this mental map, like just this mental chess game. And before she's like, when it finally gets to her, oh, milk tea, milk tea.
It's good.
It's good.
So yeah, as you're waiting for your tea orders, you see that there's a little bit of like still that like awkwardness of like, all right, we're here now. Ooh, what do we? And Mord is just sort of like playing with some of the silverware that's on the table, just sort of like messing with it and just like tapping it on the table. And he kind of looks over, and Sai looks at him, and he's just, "Oh, sorry." And he like puts it back down, and
Sai, you mentioned it before, but you felt like you maybe had been emotionally manipulated in the arena. Could you tell me more about what that felt like?
oh, yeah, I guess. He kind of like leans back a little bit in the booth. I was thinking. was a little bit irritated about the previous bout, and so I was gearing up, getting into my competitive headset, uh, firebender, you get it. And he's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Kizuma snorts into her water.
yeah, just getting into my competitive headset, but then I don't know, it felt like it just kept building up. Like usually it's something I'm in control of, I can channel that into my bending, but it just kept building. It just kept building and building, and suddenly it was just, I don't know, it's like, yeah, I don't really know how to explain it any better than that. It just suddenly, the only thing that I could do was just release it, and that's and he kind of like side eyes over at Tirza, and that's when yeah.
Did you
Slurp.
we had to take a break then. Did you talk to anybody before that happened? Did you see anybody?
No, I just I mean, I made a quick round with some of the crowd, some of the fans. I do that sometimes in between bouts, and it's kind of weird because some of them seem pretty riled up too. I mean, I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I figured just competitive spirit and all that, but looking back on it, some of them were a little too intense. I don't know.
Like in the area around you.
Yeah. Actually, that's when I started feeling it. Right around
Were
then
you in a specific part of the arena?
No, just kind of out in the hallway outside the stands. I went by the concessions. I just
Trying to give us so many free concessions.
I don't know.
That was a thing that I thought of when you came back and said that all of the that they were that they got it, that person got their badge at the stadium. If obviously I don't know what else they're trying to do or imply beyond this, but if you're trying to get as many people to take those badges, what better place to do that than a sporting event where there's going to be a lot of different people from around the city to pick up whatever memorabilia or anything that someone is handing out.
Especially for free.
And they definitely were brought in because one thing that I've been kind of mulling over is when I held it in my hand, it was very, very light. Like even a small badge would be very light. And when I was talking to the captain, one of the things that we were looking over, the paperwork, was the fact that the items being weighed in didn't make sense. So if they were being passed out in a large vat or crate or something, I mean, that might account for it. These badges might be the mysterious V that was on those documents.
But there still might be a larger piece that these are just beacons for, or the mechanism to deliver something.
The thing that's causing the quakes, because like something that little isn't gonna cause a quake, right?
No.
I just look at Niho, look at Mard, like, that's how quakes work? Confirm?
I literally have no idea. I'm an airbender.
Oh?
I mean, like a little thing isn't going to cause an earthquake itself. There's got to be something else that's doing something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's what I. Yeah.
Sai just says, so wait, I'm still not sure I get what's going on. So these badges are just being distributed to people, these pins or whatever they are. I mean,
not just to guests, but also to employees. Some members of the police force had them. That's very concerning.
The referees of the match?
The referees, a lot of people just received them, and I'm assuming y'all have like clued us, like clued Kisima in about the chemical stuff. Yeah. And if it's not chemical, then that means that it's not necessarily like, well, one of my original theories was that the badges themselves, when you break them, actually release a toxin that seemed to sort of influence the brain. But after further research into what we've been doing, I've realized that I don't really think that's the case. And then I have this other theory that maybe the slight tremors were releasing small particles, microdoses of this chemical. But if it's not being chemically administered to people, then I don't believe that that makes sense either.
Not that I can tell.
Wait a second. Wait a second. A bunch of people just walked away from the stadium with all those badges in tow. And I don't know if any of the badges stop working when they're not in the arena.
Well, a lot of them might still be around, and Ezra is going to look at the crowd that's here in Town's Noodles. Are there badges?
You know what? I don't know that you would see any in here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, looking around, and plus, I think I might have you make a roll for this one because
Okay.
this is a little, oh gosh, help me out here. I'm not even sure what, like,
I would say that that's probably an assess the situation, just because you are literally looking around at people.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an assess the situation roll here.
Creativity. Ooh, not good. 4.
Okay. No, you have no idea. Like there's people, like this place is so crowded. People are like shoulder to shoulder in some places. Like your table is the rule, not the exception, with like the number of people crowded around it, and just like in that crush of humanity, it's almost impossible to tell if anybody is like having like something as small as one of those pins. But yeah, it's just you're looking around and you're not seeing any of that. Yeah, it's
maybe not here then.
Yeah.
But who knows? Now they're all over the city, potentially.
If the running theory holds true, I don't think that we have to worry yet. My current theory, based off of some of the stuff that Tirza has suggested, is that there's a machine somewhere in this stadium, and that might just be a testing point.
They're just testing it on this smaller crowd before.
I mean, most pieces of technology have to be tested. Every single car that comes out has to be tested. They have to make sure that it can work.
So to get a viable sample size of just as many different kinds of people, use the pro bending arena to do that?
Pro bending is one of Republic City's favorite and most popular entertainment centers. A lot of people go.
So it seems like they want to mind control people?
That's marketing.
Tirza checked out of this somewhere around Kisima's like chemicals and neurotoxins, and they're 100% trying to make a little drink umbrella float with air bending to impress Koi in a corner of the table at this point, because they can't contribute meaningfully to this discussion.
Koi is going to like look over at you and just go, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm great. Are you okay?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm great. I'm
cool. Good. Yeah. Cool. Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she just sort of like looks at you. There's that like looking away, just looks back and like opens her mouth and then just takes a sip.
I'm gonna like try to float the umbrella and like swirl it and like land it in that drink she's sipping. Like I'm trying to impress her with a drink umbrella.
We're wingmanning this so badly
by water
right
bending.
now.
No, not by water bending ever. No.
Ever.
So, Koi, do you have a partner?
Koi just
The umbrella drops.
yeah, just like full on like spit.
Like Remy just did.
I was not expecting that.
She just sort of looks at you and goes, not at this time, no. No. I have.
Okay.
Anybody want more tea? I think I might.
I would love more tea. More tea would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Okay. Sorry. And like this,
Yeah,
this
tea-
like awkward, like trying to get around each other, like.
Oh no, and like I know Tirza is an edge spot because you need to be next to the glider because like that's how assistive devices work.
Mhm.
So if Tirza
Full body
Yeah,
contact.
it's just the most awkward, like tears of trying to move, but then like not being sure, and then Koi trying to like, oh, okay, and then like crawling like over. This like this the most awkward.
and I'm just locked
crawling
eyes with
over, like-
Kisima, like
Kisima in a rare display water bends the like tea off of the table and like into a
Aw.
napkin or something. I'm not gonna put it back in another cup. That's
No.
gross. But yeah, for the first time on 3 episodes in, Kisima finally water bends.
Incredible. Yeah, Koi gets up and like goes over and like, oh, excuse me, and like finds the kid who was serving before, and
Oh my gosh, Tirza, you should ask her out.
you can see
Tirza's about to like punch Kisima in the arm, remembers it's Kisima, and that's
Yes.
the one like anyone else on the team, sure. No. And so like they stop their arm, they can like cut their eyes over to the 2 other scorpion bees, like please somehow in the impossible acoustics, could you not have heard this word that was said like 2 feet away?
Yeah.
Please, could this be that world?
You can see Mord is in the process of like trying to fish a tea, like the tea out of the like cup, like having dropped it in basically. So it's like fully not paying attention, but Sai is just like ear to ear, like grinning, just sort of like hey.
I think Tirza actually like sinks under like the table.
Kisima leans into Sai. Like already seeing this shit and he grinned, seeing like same recognizing same leans in with her own grin.
Yeah. Sai just looks and says, hey, I'm just saying, you know, not a bad match.
You know?
And he's like, and also, you know, the pro bending one too. And Mord looks over, is very confused, like has now tuned into the conversation and just like what's going on.
Or don't worry about it. You're good.
Okay, and just sort of keeps taking.
The role of Tirza is now played by Pickles, who has slid up as Tirza slid down. And because Koi isn't there and Tirza isn't there, that means Pickles gets direct contact to Kisima. So this traitor Puma is all over it. And
Yeah,
like
like-
Tirza will get on their face.
Kisima like instinctually like opens up her arms so Pickles can like climb into her lap and she's like, yeah, no, I think it was a great match. You all played very well. And I think, you know, there's some other good matches to be made here too.
Sai nods, says, yeah, shaping up to be a really good season, and just kind of like still grinning. Like,
I think it's gonna be a great one.
I will say at this point, Kisima, you're holding Pickles, and I'll say that you note that Pickles has sort of stopped that sort of like cuddly squirming, right? Has sort of stopped and is like staring at like the open window of this place, like just staring at it, and you can see like the hairs are going up.
Winter Puma.
Yeah. Kisima like tries very hard to like keep the conversation and this and that, you know, her like usual mannerisms. And as she like leans back to like flip her hair and kind of glance over, that's when she looks out the window.
Sure. Yeah, you look in that direction. Go ahead and I'm gonna have you also give me an assess the situation because there's potentially some information to be had here. This
Oh.
Hmm?
Oh. No. God's above. That's nope. That's gonna be 6.
Okay. So you look over at the window and you don't, other than like the odd passerby outside, you don't see anything in that direction. But but I will give you this though, that as you're looking at Pickles, like for the next few minutes as you're like engaging in conversation, whatever, looking at Pickles, you're watching, like he never like fully relaxes, but you can see like his eyes tracking nothing. Yeah, like the gaze goes away from the window and just sort of like follows, doing kind of the cat thing, but a little bit more because he's like actually like on edge.
Worm. Okay.
By this point, Koi would have returned with another like literally like another tray of tea that she just like sets on the table. She says, "I didn't remember what everybody had, but I got everybody more. I figured Jade was a good guess."
Love Jade. Jade's my favorite.
You are such a sweetheart.
That's fine.
Very considerate.
She sits back down at the table. Again, the awkward squeeze by the other direction, and then like you can tell that Kisame, I'll give you this for free, but you can tell there's a brief moment where you know that Koi genuinely considered just standing and not
Yeah, no, as they like once Koi's finally sat, Kisame just like grabs her drink and just, wow, so sweet, huh, Tirza?
Yeah, no, it's really thoughtful.
I love it here.
See, I told you it'd be good.
I mean, we haven't even gotten the noodles yet. Like, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, where's our
Like-
waiter?
you look around and you see the harried youth just sort of like running from like table to table. The weird thing is, like, here's the thing, those of you who've been here before, like you've seen you've seen this place during rushes and things like that. There's usually more people, especially on an arena night. There should be like more people working, but right now you've only seen like the one person who's sort of like behind the counter, who's like basically like the who's sort of like sitting up. There is like a sort of like a tea bar, right, basically, and there's somebody who's working back there. You can definitely see at least one or two people in the kitchen whenever the door opens, but as far as servers, you only see the one kid, and he looks like he is running ragged to sort of serve the crowd here.
As much as he can, Ezra is just gonna try to flag him down anyway, like sort of not oblivious, but just like, just come here for a second.
Yeah,
What's
he
happening?
he finally comes over to the table and says, "I'm so sorry about that. What can I get you? Did I forget something?"
No, we were just gonna order some noodles, but are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
What's happening tonight?
Are you good, kid?
Oh, I'm good. It's just this is the end of my first week here, and we're so understaffed right now. Which is
What's happening?
Where's everybody else?
I'm not really sure. I came in for my shift today, and there's just
Is it only you working tonight? Then?
Well, I mean, he kind of like points to like the person behind. Yeah, he says,
Beyond that, like,
"Oh, yes, there were. I guess we weren't really expecting the rush so early from the arena, and there. Yeah. I'm so sorry for the wait. It's
no, you're good. You're good. Like,
One other question. I know that you've just started this week, but your coworkers, did you happen to see them with any pins or anything that they got for free from the arena?
Pins.
Yeah, I hear that they're passing out these really cute pens. We've been trying to track them down.
They're
Oh,
very fashionable.
no, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to that. He's like kind of like looking over his shoulder as he's talking to you, like at other tables, and like he says, "No,
Sorry to keep you. Your finest noodles.
great. And everybody kind of around the table, like the scorpion bees are like nodding and great. I'll get that. I'll get that out for all of you. Again, I'm so sorry for the wait. And he rushes back. You can see as he like leans over the counter and hands the like order to like the chef who like pulls it in. And just yeah. Sai just sort of like leans back, says, "I've never seen it like this before."
There's normally a lot of people working.
Yeah. Mord just sort of is looking around. Huh. That's like the only contribution Mord has to this.
What a king.
I agree to that. Huh. This is a little... It's just... odd. It's wrong. Not the correct word, but...
Well, if people are missing outside of the arena, it's all close by, but who knows? Maybe they got caught up in this.
It just feels like they're trying to clear out the space. But if they don't have the pen, then I don't know how they would have made them, you know?
Would they gain anything from demolishing the arena?
No. God, no.
If their goal was perhaps to close down pro bending or destroy it in some way to get people to leave before that happens.
No. Pro bending. There's a lot of people that have their hand in pro bending. Sponsors, companies, sports companies, movers, actors, just food companies in general. And Gravone Industries has a lot of people, a lot of their hands in those different sectors. They lose way too much business if pro bending went out. So I don't think it's that, but...
It does feel significant, though, that they're trying to disrupt or clear out the space as much as possible. Especially with all the... I mean, Kisama, you were there, that, like, we were almost thrown out, but then, oh no, it's starting again, but now we're technically all thrown out again. There was a lot of significant changes that happened in a really short amount of time that things kept wavering.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know if they wanted people to be there or not.
There definitely seem to be three factions, right? It's Gravone, and then the arena staff, and then the police. Each of them had different motivations for wanting the matches to continue or to cancel. And they finally came to that decision.
Koi leans forward at this point and she just goes, "Okay, so I mean, clearly we know that there's something going on, obviously, but what's the actual plan? What are we doing? I mean, how are we going to get into that place?"
We are biding our time until everything is cleared out, and I'm pretty sure I know how to get back into the fulfillment, like shipping and fulfillment area. I think we can sneak in from there.
That's a good idea.
And then we're going to take a look at the moat, or at least underneath the actual arena proper, right?
We need to get down.
to the lowest level possible. And Tirza had mentioned that might be the bottom of the moat.
Well, Koi, I cannot wait for you to help us out with that. 'Cause that's a lot of water.
Yeah, happy to help. As I want to
Great.
get this done as quickly as we can. Want to make sure that this doesn't disrupt the season too much, or
And
put anybody in jeopardy.
It
The
might
season's
be
already in jeopardy at this point. Who cares?
Hey, don't talk like that. And I just lean a little closer and like kind of shoulder around Koi. We
Well,
won. We're doing well in the bracket.
Things are already I'll rephrase. Things are already kind of a little screwy with how tonight went. It's not like things are off. It's just disrupted. What's a little bit more disruption until things get back on?
But what do we do if we find something? Are we just getting information, or are we destroying?
That sounds like a future us who finds things out thing.
Okay,
Because like, who knows what it is?
I don't.
So we would do something different depending on what we find out. Like, what if we find out that it's all just like a bunch of pygmy pumas making scratchy noises, and it just kind of shook the stadium. And that's why they were targeting us, because like we're already the pygmy pumas, it's just getting on their thing. We do something different.
Highly unlikely, but that is
We
a
are not
possibility.
rebranding.
Oh,
This was like Tirza's one idea and contribution to like all of this.
Oh.
You know,
It
they
could be that.
they're real buff. They bend real
Right,
well.
they have other virtues is the point,
Yeah.
and also they're distracting. Anyway.
Oh, right.
Koi just sort of looks at you and says, I mean, I have seen some serious destruction that like packs of pygmy pumas can do. That's
Kisma like looks at Sai like, you see this?
So that's actually a good cue to like, I think naturally the focus is to Pickles at that point.
yeah.
How's Pickles doing? Give me
That is actually
how's
yes.
how's
We
my
all
brother?
talked about a pygmy
Yeah.
puma.
So Pickles is still like a little bit more relaxed, but not quite at ease. Still tense, and you can see that like his eyes are just sort of like going around this place. If you want, you can make an assess the situation here, because this is a totally different, like from a totally different time and perspective. So yeah.
Okay, that's an 8
Okay.
from your pal.
Sorry, Sam. What'd you say?
7.
7? Okay, great. So I'll say, like, in this instance, both of you note that that Pickles, like, very obviously is like, this is not just like the cat thing where they just like you're just looking out into nothing. For like, very obviously is like tracking movement.
The tail is flirting and yep, all that.
Definitely like tracking movement for sure. And in that, I will say that they've gone from sort of that like alert, like I don't threat maybe, to like now there's sort of, it's more that tension that's kind of more like that sort of like hunter kind of tension, where they are like very very meticulously tracking movement. That much you can tell just in the movement of their eyes and the sway of their head. Yeah, but when you look, you don't see anything per se, but you do occasionally catch like a ruffled tablecloth here and there that like moved it as if by like a gust of wind that isn't there. You do catch like at one point there's like a teacup that is like sort of almost knocked over but not quite. There's just like little disturbances that you are like catching.
What is everyone looking at?
I like slide my eyes over to Niho, because like really good earthbenders allegedly can sense movement, right?
Like vibrations and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Am I feeling any vibration in the earth, like someone moving like across
I'm
like
actually
the
gonna
floor
give this
and
one
in
to you for
space?
free. No, you aren't. Not anything else that anything other than what you would be expecting.
Yeah.
I will say like the things like the teacup that sort of teeters a little bit. You feel that a little, but no. Other than that,
I think like in assuming that Niho gets like what's picking up what's being put down here, like gives like just like a kind of slight shake of her head to Kisima, like there's nothing.
Ezra's looking down at like the jasmine tea and sort of keeping it warm with his hand heat. And you can see the steam coming out of it. And as the steam sort of rises in front of his face, he's seeing everybody like sort of space out. And he snaps out of it and says, "Does anyone have any experience with the spirit realm?"
No.
Some of this, I mean, I only tangentially have studied it, like medicinally, but I mean, emotion stuff, it's all sort of out there, right? Do you think they're messing with the spirit realm?
Listen, I know that like I should be very connected to the spirit realm, but over my head.
Ezra sort of looks over at the other members of the table.
yeah. Sai just shakes his head and Mord shrugs. Koi, on the other hand, says, "I mean, not any personal experience per se, but I mean, I am from the Northern Water Tribe, where, I mean, my people are very connected to the spirits there. It's baked into our traditions. So I learned a lot growing up, but I mean, I haven't had any personal experience other than the spirits you occasionally run into around the city. But no, I mean, I don't know much about it myself. Why do you think there's spirits involved in some way?"
Well, if not a pack of pygmy pumas just trying to keep other theories in mind.
I mean, it's not a bad theory in that can't explain the earth tremors automatically, but the way that people are feeling that spirits can, it's outside of like what we kind of know. Speaking as an earthbender, not very a grounded kind of idea, but it's like it things that are kind of go weird, go wrong. It not a bad idea to attribute to something like that.
Don't the air nomads have like a lot of connection to the spirit realm?
At this point, you might discover Tirza has taken off. A little bit, not like all the way gone. Like you'll be able to see, like they're not vanished.
Okay.
They're not. Pickles is still there. Come on.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
But
That's
look,
true.
there's like, they might be a little awkward at this table. They don't feel like they have anything to contribute. They want to get moving because like they're an athlete.
Sure.
Yeah.
They are hyperactive. I don't know if you've noticed. And like right now, we are sitting at the table thinking about something, and if we finish dinner, then we can go and we can break into stuff, and then we can have answers. So the bottleneck here is dinner, and the bottleneck with dinner is that there's just one poor front of the house guy.
Yeah.
So Tirza now has like plates on the front of their glider.
Tirza's
God.
delivery service.
Yes, that is exactly what's happening right now.
And Pickles is Kiki's cat on the broom.
Oh my god.
Might at so that's probably why you're like about to look, and Pickles will jump up as I pass, just for that image, Xander. Thank you.
Incredible.
And so they're like whoosh, 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 whoosh around. Like they're not taking orders, but like if there's something on the counter, like they're quickly learning which table 9 is.
Oh my
And don't do this, but
Yeah.
also that is what
yeah.
Yeah.
they needed to move. This is how you do it. Now we do stuff. Stuff is happening. We are
Yeah.
not next to the cute girl. We are delivering.
At
Amazing.
one point, you like make eye contact with the kid who just like gives you a nod. Like the face clearly says thank you. Like
Like an 80s montage approval of like, yeah.
Oh my
exactly.
gosh, Koi, Tirtsa's so helpful.
And considerate.
Koi just sort of like looks over at Sai, like a very clearly help me look, and Sai just sort of goes, "So, Ezra, how how long have you been working in the arena?"
Oh, well, I've got friends and I worked in the medical field for a while. I was still sort of in training there, but then Kisima brought me along to try the other end of pro bending.
That's amazing. You know, I've always wished that I could do the like firebending healing. I mean, I tried to learn when I was younger, but I just didn't have the patience for it.
It does take a lot of patience, unfortunately.
Yeah, it didn't go well, actually. It's fine. Everybody was fine. There were other healers there who were watching me, but you know,
Oh,
it turns out that I'm really only like good at one kind of firebending, and it's more the kind that makes people with your skills necessary. So
well, actually, after this is over, if you wanted to train a bit, I could use some more of that, and I could help you focus yours a bit.
wait, really?
Yeah. I mean, I want to be a pro bender.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird with the whole we're opposing teams and you know working with the. You know what? Doesn't matter. I think let's do it. Let's do it. Not big on rules anyway.
Oh, thanks, Tirza. As like noodles plop
Yeah.
down.
I have sent the nudes to us all.
Oh my god.
There we go.
There it is.
So you admit it, you did send nudes to Koi.
Well, I mean, once everything is back, Tirza, who has, but I'm happy to roll to see how well I've done as front of house. I kind of think that because Tirza is small town before they like moved up to Pro Bandit, like this is not their first time they have done this, which is why it was their instinct in the first place. And so they have made at least like maybe okay, but they definitely forgot to deliver their own plate. They're gonna have to share nudes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to lady in the Tran.
I think there's very clearly this moment, right, where Tirza's back and like, all right, I did something, and like sits down and then looks down and realizes there is no noodles in front of them. And then Koi just sort of pushes the bowl so it's like in between the two of them.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
You know, Ezra, my mother is working on this new romantic mover. I don't know.
Oh, for Koi?
Well, you know.
Yeah, and you just sort of sharing the bowl of noodles for a bit. So as this is happening, y'all are eating and whatnot. Pickles has seemed to sort of have calmed down, especially with the movement, like going along for the ride with Tirza, but is still like occasionally like tracking movement, but not like tense anymore. But at a certain point, as y'all are kind of like involved, there's that natural silence that falls on the table as people begin like sort of eating, and you watch as Pickles very suddenly, like back arched, hair like on end, just sort of yowling very softly, just sort of, and sort of like backing up, like leaps onto the table, and then just sort of like backing sort of towards Kisima, that sidestep towards Kisima, away from sort of like the outer end of the table.
What's on the outer end of the table?
Nothing at first, and then as you're looking, you watch as just sort of like materialize. There is like a small, like a small spirit that is just sort of like this sort of pale greenish sort of spirit that is sort of God, this is a weird. Like sort of flubber shaped, right? Like very
Sure,
much like
sure.
the like, right? Like, um,
Like humanoid-ish,
yeah, like
like a
humanoid.
meeple.
Yeah, exactly. Just sort of like very little kind of like chubby little like belly and just like is like holding one of the like teacups, like full like arms around the teacup like this, and is just sort of looking up at you all, and just sort of sits down. So, how's it going?
When they speak, Ezra, Ezra chokes and a noodle flies out of his nose and just sort of dangles.
Yeah.
The nozzle.
Just sort of looks and says, "Sorry about that. Hey, you got something on your face there.
Oh,
Don't mind me. Just figured I'd hang around. You all seem
Kisima
like-
scoops pickles up and like full just like how dare.
So looks at all of you. So, you planning to get in there? The arena, I mean? Sorry, I've been listening.
oh.
Yeah, we are.
Good. Somebody's got to look into that.
You,
I
you
can tell
think
you.
something's.
Hmm?
You think something's happening?
Oh, I know something's happening. All the spirits can feel it. Haven't you talked to a spirit lately?
No, I'm Ezra, by the way.
Nice to meet you. He does not offer.
I'm looking at my tea like I got dosed.
So not only are you eavesdropping, you're not even gonna introduce yourself. That's very rude.
I mean, maybe rude by human standards.
That's true.
Fair.
You can call me Doe.
Nice to
No.
meet you, Doe.
I don't like this.
Hey, Doe. Do you know anything about what's going on in the arena then?
Nope. That's why I was hoping you'd figure it out. I'm really curious about this whole thing. It's really disrupting everything. I mean, a guy just comes to Republic City hearing like, "Oh, leave the spirit world, go to the human world, and all that." And I don't need this. I'm telling you, I come here. I don't need this whole disrupted energy thing. Okay?
Your energy's disrupted?
No. Try to keep up. Not my energy, just spirit energy in the area. It's.
Why are you even here? Like,
Why are you here? What kind of question is that?
I live here.
We
Well,
got
so
a
do I.
coupon.
Yeah, come on, don't be insensitive. They're here.
Well, I mean, maybe they can help us. We have permission actually to go back into the arena, right, Kisima?
Yeah.
So if
Please forgiveness.
if you think that there may be something weird with the energy fields, we can't feel that, but you could.
That's true. That's true. Whew. Yeah. Well. Yeah. No. There's just some weird stuff going on. I don't know how to explain it to you in a way that you would understand it. But let's just say that it's been real uncomfortable being around here. Up, down. It's just.
Down.
You know. Yeah. You know. All the emotions and all that kind of thing. You
Oh.
understand that you humans and your emotions really loud for spirits. You get that, right?
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Don't apologize.
Oh,
I
sorry.
slurp my feelings.
Yeah, like
No.
Mord is just sort of like scooping noodles, like hasn't stopped, but has definitely slowed down. It's like slurping the noodles like up, like very slowly, like pondering this. And Sai is just like looking around, like, wait, for real? Like that like am I being pranked look, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pro bending arena. Emotions kind of run high there. Are you saying it's different than even that?
Well, normally things have a balance about them, you know, especially when it comes to energies and emotions and all that kind of thing. But lately, hasn't been the case.
Is there anywhere that seems more unbalanced?
Oh yeah, I mean you said it already. The arena. I mean usually that place is a hotbed for human emotions, but like right now,
They had to evacuate.
oh, I mean even before that,
Oh,
it's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you've noticed, probably not, given our current previous parts of this conversation, but there haven't been most spirits in the area like avoiding the place.
Actually, we did kind of notice that. Can you go in there?
Well, there's not really anything happening right now, so it should be a little bit better right now.
Do you want to help us take a look at the arena? Make sure
No,
it's
not
all...
really.
Okay.
Oh,
But instead, I think I'll help you take a look at the arena.
okay.
Okay.
Welcome along, Doe.
Thanks.
Mm.
You got any more of those noodles?
No.
Neho's gonna push her plate a little, like what's left of her plate, a little towards the center of the table.
Kisma smacks your knuckles with the chopstick.
Spirits don't eat. I just like to, look at it, see what it's all this whole eating thing is about.
Noodle around with it.
Sure.
Neho
Tirza
pulls her
experiences
plate
their.
back.
Oh, sorry. Tirza experiences their karmic punishment as they chopstick a noodle, and whoops, it's a Koi has also chopstick this noodle.
Yeah. And both of you are just sort of like reacting kind of the same way here, just sort of like, yeah, fully like, it's one of those things where you just sort of like both kind of turn like.
And I think so you use the chopstick, like kind of snap the noodle, and so like cut through the noodle.
Mm-hmm.
So Tirza ends up with a piece of noodle like this much.
Oh no.
Just awkward noodles.
Yeah. Yeah, Koi like sort of slurps up the noodle and then just sort of looks at you, but like sort of like fully like flushed, but like doesn't like look away as quickly as they've done in the past. They're just sort of like looking and just kind of smiles at you, and then Doe goes, "Whoo, those two are pretty loud." I'm just gonna say.
So are we ready? Are we ready to go? Has everyone eaten? Everyone's eaten, right?
I'm full.
Ready to go? Everyone's ready to go. Good. Great. Wonderful. They're getting their glider out. They're like ready to be gone.
Let's see. Here's a who I think I'm gonna have Ezra and Kisma real quick. Give me a quick like assess the situation here.
Okay.
Woohoo.
Ooh.
Ooh.
11.
Oh, let's go. I got
Oh,
a
damn.
9.
Okay. All right. So
Mars and Venus, man.
I'll start with Kisima here, because Kisima, as you're like, this whole interaction has been a lot, and you're just like, okay, you know what? We just need to refocus. And you like kind of glance around. You notice that something about the room, like about the room here, like feels different, and you're not sure. You can't quite figure out exactly what it is. You can't pinpoint it exactly, but you're like, it's that like subtle shift in the room that like makes it like something has changed, and you're like casting around for it. Ezra, you also feel that, but you can pinpoint it right away. You immediately know what it is. You're realizing in this moment that you don't remember the last time that you saw the server.
The kid.
Furthermore, you also don't see the person behind the bar, and the kitchen is suspiciously quiet.
Oh no.
The room itself still like full, people are talking, whatever, but like the you don't remember the last time you saw any of them.
At this point, Ezra's just gonna like get up. We're all getting up to leave anyway, and as on our way out, he'll sort of make his way over to see if they're there behind the counter.
Okay, so you look behind the counter, and you don't see them. What I will say is, riding that 11, because that's a great roll. You come over and like kind of peek behind the counter. You don't see anybody back here. You do note that the door to the kitchen is slightly ajar.
Ezra, a motion over to Kisima,
I mean, Kisima
Yeah.
walks over, yeah.
and then we'll make our way over there, just to
Yeah.
peek and
Yeah.
listen.
You go to the door to the kitchen. It's slightly open, and when you get there, you can immediately you can see that something is propping it open. What's propping it open is a boot. And looking inside, it's a boot connected to a leg.
Uh-oh.
Disgusting.
How unexpected.
As you sort of like push and sort of look inside, you can see very clearly both the serving boy and the person who was behind the counter. Both of them, Ezra would note, both breathing, both of them fully unconscious on the floor of the kitchen.
Oh, rush or check pulses. Immediately go into like EMT mode.
Yeah. You get over there. Go ahead and give me this. I think this is definitely a skills and training situation here. Go ahead and give me that. Meanwhile,
anything that-
yeah. What are the rest of you doing while that's happening?
Niho is gonna try to pick up dough, like not pick up dough, but like pick up the cup that dough is holding to try to get him in her hand. To get them in her hand somehow.
Yeah, Doe fully like climbs inside the teacup as he's like,
Like
oh,
a
hey, hold
hot
on.
tub.
Yeah. Fully, oh, hey, watch it. Hey, give me a second. And he like climbs in the.
Okay. Just like holding him, like.
Yeah. He just like fully like settles in, like, and like.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tirza will swoop forward like into the room. Like Ezra is sort of like checking the people.
Mm-hmm.
Tirza's going farther. Like I don't know if this is like a walk-in freezer kind of like situation or if this is a thing that goes to an exit, but I'm like trying to follow through to see if I can get some more environmental context of Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Gotcha. So are you going into the kitchen itself, or are you staying in like the main room?
Yes, I am. Again, because like Tirza is like kind of comfortable with these spaces.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. Obviously, that makes sense. Yeah. Go ahead and give me an assess the situation here, because there is definitely some information to be picked up here.
Cool. I love information. I'm very good at that. Didn't we just establish that this whole
Yes.
All right. Meanwhile, Xander, what did you roll?
An 8.
8. Okay. So you're sort of like quickly just sort of like leaning down, checking these people. What you can tell is that like there's like some like abnormal like muscle tension on some of them, on like on these two.
Like they're holding tension?
Like they might have like they might have been holding tension.
Gotcha.
So it's basically like the kind of thing where it's like it feels like they're releasing basically, but like they were like definitely clenched at some point. That much you can tell.
Immediately he'll say to Kisima, they're alive.
Okay, good.
And I guess Tirza flying in then.
Yeah. Can I don't know what like Tirza's rolled yet, but can I help them? I'll mark 1 fatigue and give them a +1 to
Sure.
after the roll.
Okay.
Thank you. I did just roll.
Okay.
I did roll, and the dice were a 5. The bonus is a 6. So with you,
Nice.
Let's
That's
go.
a
7.
7.
Thank you. Oh
Nice.
my gosh, thank you.
Amazing.
Good
Amazing.
call.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh gosh, my you have been teasing me all evening, but now you are helping me. I have
Yay.
complicated feels.
See,
Okay, it's
that's
fine.
how it works.
This
That's
is
how
why
it
I'm your little like.
works.
See, this is the family I was talking
This is
about.
the family.
That's the dynamic that this family is.
Yes.
All right.
My
So
big makes fun of.
So Tirza, as you're sort of like circling the area, just sort of like immediately kind of like whoosh into the kitchen, you're like your eyes are like darting around, looking for any kind of like anything that would look out of place or anything like that. And you are familiar with places like this. You know the kind of like general comings and goings that happen in places like this. So immediately it's very clear, like you can see that there is like an exit that goes into the street behind, into kind of like the alleyway behind this place. And that door is fully open. Like it is open. You also know as you reach it and you look out the door, you looking kind of in the alleyway, you do very clearly see where there is as you're looking around, there's nobody in the alleyway. There's nothing, like no movement in the alleyway. You can see where there's like trash bins and things like that in the back. So, but as you look, you can clearly see that, given that these people who are unconscious, which like you would have also noted that like the cooks are also like on like unconscious in the same way that the two sort of front of house people have been. There's you can based on this you can tell. I'm gonna give you this information, which is that like without a shadow of a doubt that those were the only people in here, and if the door is open, it means and all those people are inside. It probably means that somebody came in this way.
And they got out.
That said, you in because of this, you rolled what was it, a 7 right? Okay. So I'm going to say as you're looking out, having this sort of realization, you feel like the door, which kind of like you have kind of is open, you're kind of looking out. The door slams into you suddenly as you get like just sort of slammed into kind of the door jam, and you watch as a figure just sort of like dressed in very like loose clothing, masked, like it darts around the door and sort of squares up against you, and like goes in for like a series of targeted precise strikes.
Whoa.
Do we
Please tell
see
me Niho
this?
sees this.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Neo's in the front still, I think, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you,
Neho still
like,
has a
Ezra
cup with
and
a little
Kisame-
spirit in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
She can't do much right
Ezra
now.
and Kisama
Okay.
are definitely there. Yeah, you see this happen.
Okay.
Uh, Ezra has been trying to like prop the tea shop workers like up against a cabinet or something to get them like comfortable, and in that process has been taking off one of the aprons, and then this person comes in. Ezra flings the apron back at Kisima and says, "Get people out of here, it's dangerous," and points to the
Aw.
people in the front.
Kisima like catches the apron, but then like tosses it down, turns her head, and just yells at like Niho, like, "Get everybody out!" And Kisima's going to reach into like the little bag that she has, like her tactical water satchel, and she's going to pull out one of her weapons.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on, what? Like I'm not gonna fight in an Avatar game, please. Yeah, and it's essentially going like it's it itself looks kind of like almost like a small hatchet, but she presses a button and it like extends all the way to like a modern twist of like a traditional water tribe like kind of spear situation. So she can fight at a distance.
Incredible.
Nice.
All right.
So Tirza looks back, sees this happening, sees that Kisima's about to square up, but we don't have Niho, and I don't. Where are the scorpion bees right now?
The scorpion bees are
Oh,
up
front
at
with Niho.
front with Niho, yeah. In
Got it,
kind of
got
the
it.
main room.
So like basically, it were like kind of 2v1 versus this guy, and Tirza isn't the most used to being like, I guess, a forward.
Sure.
Would be the closest analogy to Niho's position. But as they square up alongside Kisima, she can definitely tell that they're sort of taking that formation up against this masked figure who's about to attempt to precisely strike.
Yeah. So just so here's so that we understand. Meanwhile, like we'll cut away from that for a second.
Yeah.
Because in the front of the place, you, Niho, are sort of like standing with the scorpion bees, like, okay, what's going on? What do we do? And this like spirit who is just sort of like settled into this like teacup hot tub. You note just like you and Mord immediately like make eye contact because you both feel like change and like vibrations of like as people are stepping, and you both look simultaneously in the same direction as you see a couple of the patrons in the place sort of yell in surprise as you look up and like just literally like swinging through the windows, you get through a couple of the open windows on like different ends of this place. You can see more of these masked figures in like sort of this kind of mottled gray kind of outfit, just sort of swing in. You watch as like one person who's there, who like you recognize as like one of the other like pro benders on another team, like stands up and immediately tries to like goes, "Hey, what do you do?" And you watch as like a series of precise strikes just come directly at him, just like do 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 do, and you watch as his arm just goes limp.
Oh no! God.
Yeah.
Blockers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they both of them like turn and square up with you, Niho. And you see as people like begin panicking, standing up, tables flipping over as people are like running, like full on sprinting out of the. You hear Kisima's voice come from back, like, "Niho, get everyone out!" And people are already like up and like pushing their way out of the front of this place. You even see a couple of the occupants of the smaller tables stand up and like pull masks over their faces and just begin like rushing. So yeah, you can definitely see where like currently as people are like rushing out in the back you have Tirza and Kisima and Ezra, like all of you sort of like there with this single chi blocker who is now like sort of squaring up and begins just sort of like basically like fully like going into a dive roll towards you and starting to like come up and ready to come in under your guard. In the front of the place, Niho, you are now like squaring up against these chi blockers with the scorpion bees, all of them like Mord like slams a foot down and like a chunk of rock comes up and it just sort of stays there. Sai takes up a position on the other side and you can see as he just sort of flames coming out, and you immediately like this sort of like stream, like teacups, like just begin streams of water begin like pulling from like teacups around and starting to like kind of sort of surround the group of you as you watch Koi sort of beginning to bend the water, and as you watch like you all begin to sort of square up against these chi blockers, you can see as there's this single beat before any of them like move. As you find that this place, all of the exits are now like covered by the chi blockers.
Dang it.
Fuck, dude.
Fuck. We're fucking set up.
So with that, I think that's where we're gonna call it, since we are right here and it's a little too close to the end to get into any kind of encounter.
Yeah,
So-
Sure,
the
yeah.
episode would end.
We'll train our grip strength hanging from this cliff.
Oh, boy.
You know, Sam and Xander, the thing is, I know you two are used to, Eric's cliffhangers. I figured I'd just make you...
I'd get a break.
I would make
It does feel like
I just
home.
wanted to make you feel at home when you came in, like...
Thank you. The view is familiar.
Everybody, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us this evening. This has been the first of the Rule of Lore end of Republic City Rumble. We'll be back next week with the final part of this crossover thing. It honestly feels like it just started.
Right?
But yeah. So before we go out, why don't we go back around in reverse order? Liv, tell everybody where they can find you, what you're up to.
Hey, my name is Liv. I use she, they pronouns, and I've been playing Kisima for you all, which is a blast. And I'm so glad I got to be a gremlin today. I love it. I've been having a good time. When I'm not here having the time of my life, you can catch me on Mondays over on Total Parties Under the Table, where we play a whole bunch of different indie style TTRPGs, basically anything that aren't the big two and anything that doesn't require a D20. We play it. D&D and Pathfinder. Those are like... Yeah, I see Sam like...
Pathfinder's big?
Oh.
I mean, I played Pathfinders before I played D&D, actually.
Mm.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too, actually.
But yes, so as long as it doesn't have a D20, we're gonna play it. And right now we are doing our weird Western, kind of like spooky monster game. I play Josephine, who I wish I could say she's different than Kisima in some ways. She's less flamboyant. Let's go with that, but just as shady. And otherwise, you can catch me on Super Idols RPG. We just had a new episode drop. And then you can also hear my voice on Clearfield Podcast, where we just started our latest mystery. So check this out.
Nice. Awesome. Sam.
I'm Sam DeLove. I have been playing Tirza when I am not experiencing enforced gay panic in Avatar The Last Airbender. Frankly, you can find it through most of the internet. There's an ongoing theme. If you want to see where I'm, I don't know, queering skies or whatever, jamming stars, power gay? Yes, let's go with it. You can find that whole schedule on my twitch.tv about page at Delevely, Delevely, as well as all of my one-offs and a project I think I should be able to announce this week on my Twitter. That is at Tchaikovsky, ChaiKovsky.
Excellent. Xander.
Yeah, I'm Xander Genre, and you can find me at Xanderific with 2 R's and 1 F. My main hub is Twitter, but I also stream here on Twitch on my personal channel Mondays and Tuesdays. But also I'm storytelling pretty much every night of the week. So you can check out my Twitter for my full schedule. But notably, I do Shakar on that Bronze Girls channel, playing D&D on Tuesday nights. And then I just made an appearance again on LA by Night, which is a Vampire the Masquerade playthrough. So make sure to check that out on the World of Darkness channel or the YouTube.
Incredible. Remy.
Hi, I'm Remy. I'm not currently not on any like stream stuff at the moment besides this, but Rule of Lore Infinite Horizon, man, new season started. It's really good. I promise you, it's amazing. I love it. I love tuning in for stuff. But you can catch me over on Twitter at Remy Post. I realize I haven't said any of this before, but it was mentioned in chat. I make plushies. I'm an illustrator. I do a lot of really weird art stuff just across the board.
Wow, so
fan.
talented.
I love your art.
Thank you. It's all on Twitter. So just follow me at Remy Post.
Follow Remy on Twitter.
Follow Remy on Twitter. You can follow me too, but I'm just gonna, I don't know, just tweet about the stars. That's about
That's
it.
good too.
Just?
That's good too.
Lucas is laughing because like there's been a lot of times I'm like, you know, what the fuck is this Mercury retrograde bullshit? That's just a lot of my Twitter. So follow Remy and say, follow Remy on Twitter.
Meanwhile, if anybody asks me what planet is making them sad, I'm going to tell them it's this one. Hi, everybody. I'm Lucas Santana. I have been your GM this evening. You can find me right here on Rule of Lore Wednesdays for Infinite Horizon, as Remy said. Remy was very recently a guest on Infinite Horizon. And of course, you can find me on Fridays. You can find me here on Ramblemancy, our roundtable style talk show. We talk about all kinds of nerdy stuff and nerd adjacent things. Most recently, we've just sort of been just having no rails, all rambles. So no topics, but we often have topics. This coming week, actually, we will have our first guest in a while, and that is Jam at the Jam Plan. She is somebody that some of you who've been around, we've rated her channel a few times, but Jam is coming. We're gonna chat about. It's gonna be chaotic because that's who we all are as people. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Ramblemancy.
Yeah, that's Ramblemancy, baby.
I love Ramblemancy so much.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that. And yeah, so if you wanna keep apprised of everything that we're doing here at Rule of Lore, I highly recommend y'all join our Discord, because if you're not in there already, you are gonna want to be there to find out everything that we're doing, everything that's coming up, because usually anytime that anything gets announced, if it's not on stream, the first place that's going to hear about it is the Discord. So and we do have some announcements coming. We're not there yet, but they're coming. This is
So excited.
the trademark rule of lore announcement before the announcement. So,
Gay heist.
yeah. So, of course, yes. Usually, we also have.
Oh no, you don't have to do
I'm
that.
going
I'm just
to.
saying.
I'm going to because I'm manifesting it. I'm manifesting its return.
Okay.
We usually on Tuesdays also have our Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's
hard, isn't it? It's
it
hard.
really
here.
is. Waterdeep Dragon
On
Heist actual play
on
on
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Although the reason I hesitated is because at this point it's so homebrewed that I don't even know if we can actually call it still Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Now it officially becomes Water Heist Dragon Deep.
Yes.
Stop it. Heist, deep, deep.
Yeah.
Yes, the heist of Theseus.
Unfortunately, currently, due to all kinds of turmoil happening behind the scenes with that show is on hiatus, but it will be back. I promise. Well, everything will be fine. I'm manifesting that will return to Into Deep.
I gotta
yeah.
be a gay rock. It's like I need it in my life.
I'm in.
Very true. All right, everybody. I think that's all for us tonight. But thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully, we will see you on Wednesday for Infinite Horizon. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.